Hello, I'm Paul. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about American culture. I've received some questions in the comments specifically about American bar culture and American partying culture. This is a complicated subject and it depends on a couple of things, like what part of America you're talking about, whether it's a more conservative or liberal area, what age group you're talking about, what ideology those people subscribe to. So for example, if you're talking about bar culture in university students or young people, it's going to be very different from middle-aged people, like 40-year-olds. And it's going to be different from how things were in America maybe 20 or 30 years ago. So all of these answers are very subjective, but I'm going to do my best to give a brief overview of it. So the first part of this I'm going to cover is American bar culture as it relates to Chinese people. The things to watch out for, the things you need to know, the things to be careful about. Number one, if you are a Chinese woman and you're in the US and you're thinking about going to the bar, the first thing you need to know is only go with a friend that you can trust. Okay, that's very important. And don't get too intoxicated. American bars, it depends on the bar, it depends on the location, but generally speaking, it's not safe for foreign women to go to bars alone. You can get taken advantage of in a lot of different ways. In America, it's terrible, but things like rape do happen. And when they happen, they tend to happen to women who are alone, who look like an easy target to men. So you really need to prepare yourself. You need to be careful. You need to take care of your safety, especially if you're not familiar with American culture, like if you're new to the States. The second one, say you're asked out on a date by an American man. Now this is extremely sensitive and difficult to talk about because American culture is very different from Chinese culture, especially as it relates to things like sex and relationships. In American culture, sex is not a big deal for many people. Okay, they don't think it matters at all. A lot of American women will have sex on the first date, and obviously that's very different from Chinese culture. So if you're a Chinese woman and you're going out on a date or going to a bar with an American man, you need to understand your expectations are going to be very different from his expectations. So what that means is you need to make sure that you set clear boundaries. You need to make sure you never do something like go back to his apartment or even go out with him alone to a bar. You have to be extremely careful about these things because American men, depending on the man, a lot of American men have many years of experience manipulating women into getting sex. And I know that sounds terrible, but that's just the reality of the situation. I'm being as honest as I can about this. So if you're new to America, if you don't have experience with these things, you really need to do everything you can to take care of yourself. And that means that you need to not put yourself in situations where you're potentially at risk. We'll talk about the specific American culture aspects of bar culture. Like why do Americans go to the bar so much? Or how to be careful at the bar, what going to the bar means. So again, it depends on the age group, it depends on the culture, but Americans do frequently go to the bar. Usually they go to the bar to get intoxicated, and a lot of the time it has to do with sex. So they're going to the bar to look for sex, American men in particular, but American, like groups of men or groups of women will go to the bar to meet people, and meeting people can mean different things. It can mean that they're looking for people to hang out with, but again, American culture is so sexualized that usually it just revolves around sex. it circles back to sex. So people go to the bar, they get intoxicated, they lose their self-control, and they end up hooking up with strangers or with other Americans. And this is very common, especially in university culture. As people get older, it becomes less common, but among the young people in America, it's very, very common. And one last piece of advice for you: if you do go to the bar, go with friends, and always make sure that your drink never leaves your hand. Okay, never leave your drink on the bar. Never let someone else hold your drink. Never take a drink from a stranger. Only take a drink directly from the bartender or from a server. Because people in America and in other countries around the world, many of these issues are not just in America. They will drug you. They will put things in your drink and then take you home and take advantage of you. So American bar culture is, in summary, is mainly about sex. And Chinese people who aren't familiar with America, need to be very careful when you get involved in these issues. A lot of things can happen, and it's very dangerous if you're not prepared, okay? I hope everybody found this video helpful. I know it's a little bit depressing or a little strange, but I'm just being honest with you to help you protect yourselves. There are some positive aspects to bar culture too. It's not all negative. Some people go out to have fun with their friends and hang out, and that used to be the idea behind it 20 or 30 years ago, is we go to the bar to have fun. But as America has degraded, as the culture has become subverted and more sexualized, it's kind of transitioned into an overt sexual thing. And I'm not happy about that, but it is what it is. And I'm just being honest with you about it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and take care.